My name is Dr. Andria Jones-Bitton. I am an epidemiologist and an associate professor in the Department of Population Medicine at the University of Guelph, although I am not representing the University of Guelph tonight. I am the parent of two children who are in grades 3 and 5 at a school in the Upper Grand District School Board. I'm a member of the grassroots advocacy group Ontario Safe. This group is made up of concerned parents, education workers, and community members. Ontario Safe has been calling on the provincial government to reduce class sizes. My intention in delegating today is twofold. One, I would like to request that the Upper Grand District School Board take every possible action to achieve optimal physical distancing on school buses and in classrooms. Two, I would like to request that the board ensure that clear and accessible information about bus, classroom, and recess conditions is disseminated to all guardians of children attending Upper Grand District schools. Regarding class sizes, the safest, most enduring pandemic school reopening and operation requires implementation of a comprehensive bundle of COVID-19 mitigation measures on school buses and in classrooms. Experts have repeatedly stressed that we should borrow from the practices used in healthcare to plan the safest operation of schools. In hospitals, a layered infection prevention and control strategy is used. The first level of protection and control is elimination. Robust public health measures are taken to contain the spread of infection in communities. In the case of COVID-19, we have been encouraged to follow physical distancing, masking, and hand washing guidelines to limit interactions with others, and testing and contact tracing provide further contribution to protection and control. These elimination strategies can reduce the overall spread of COVID-19 and, by extension, keep COVID-19 out of schools. While difficult and imperfect, keeping COVID-19 out of schools is our most effective line of defense. However, as a result of the loosening of restrictions on gatherings over the summer months, school reopening has coincided with increasing community transmission of COVID-19. As elimination becomes more elusive, additional layered measures will be critical to reducing the spread of COVID-19 in schools. These additional measures include environmental cleaning, frequent hand washing, optimizing ventilation, expanding outdoor learning, use of non-medical masks, reducing class sizes and bus occupancy, and ensuring physical distancing of 2 meters between people in indoor settings. These measures work synergistically to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission. We commend local public health leadership and the Upper Grand District School Board for taking a strong position on non-medical masks by mandating masking for all students from kindergarten through grade 12. It is important to be aware that masks alone do not provide sufficient protection to people on buses and in schools. Masks must be combined with other strategies, including physical distancing, to achieve the safest possible bus and school environments. Physical distancing has been one of the fundamental measures implemented to control the spread of COVID-19. The broad goal of physical distancing is to reduce direct contact between individuals in order to limit the risk of COVID-19 transmission. While data suggests that physical distancing of at least 1 meter offers some benefit, larger distances of at least 2 meters offer greater protection. 2 meters of physical distancing, of course, is recommended by most public health officials. Physical distancing is especially critical across the entire school environment, both on buses and in schools. The mixing of people between these two crowded settings creates additive risks that must be meaningfully addressed. On school buses and in standard Ontario classrooms, it is not possible to achieve optimal physical distancing without dramatically reducing the number of occupants. These reductions are required in order to implement public health best practices and to minimize the risk of COVID-19 transmission to students and workers, and to the families and communities in which those students and workers are embedded. The myriad developmental, social, and health benefits of an in-person education for children and youth cannot be overstated. And I believe that all of us present here are well aware of and are committed to a robust, universal public education system. To protect and sustain in-person schooling, we must invest in school reopening and operating plans that incorporate all COVID-19 mitigation measures. We are asking the board to petition the province for the funds necessary to reduce bus occupancy and class sizes so that optimal 2-meter physical distancing can be achieved on buses and in classrooms. We are asking the board to undertake any actions within its purview to reduce bus occupancy and class sizes while awaiting further leadership from the province. We are pleading with the board to act with haste to protect students, transportation and education workers, families and communities, and to stave off school closures. Our second request to the board relates to transparency. In addition to sharing our concerns about class and bus occupancy, I would like to request that the board streamline and standardize communication with parents and guardians about bus and classroom conditions. Messaging to guardians must be accessible. Guardians have not been meaningfully engaged in the Ministry of Education's back-to-school planning or in the board-level implementation. The Ministry of Education's return-to-school templates have created equity and ethical issues. The risks inherent in such an incomplete plan will not be borne equally by all groups. Decision-making has not been informed for any guardian, and the quality of information that has been shared with guardians varies by school and within classes. I've learned about a grade 5-6 split class containing 26 students where the desks were originally 50 centimeters apart. Only some guardians were provided with information about desk spacing in their individual conversations with the classroom teacher. The spacing was improved to 1 meter when one guardian called public health to make an official complaint. I am concerned that there are other classrooms that are very crowded like this one, which have not received such individual attention in order to optimize the spacing of students. I have learned that the average number of students on Upper Grand District School Board buses is 34, and I have heard that children from multiple schools are on the same buses, minimizing the benefits of so-called cohorts. An average occupancy of 34 does not allow for any meaningful distancing. Bus occupancy would need to be reduced to 8 in order to achieve 2 meters of physical distancing. If a bus carried 23 people, all of them staggered in their seats, each student would be 84 centimeters from at least one of their neighbors. Guardians who have enrolled children in in-person learning have a clear vested interest in transportation and classroom conditions. The current exclusion of parents and guardians from schools makes clear communication more important than ever. All guardians should be aware of the number of people on buses and in classrooms and of the distance between individuals. Classroom configurations, snack and meal plans, recess and outdoor curriculum plans should be universally provided. Hence, we are calling on the board to support school administration and staff to expediently distribute information to guardians. This information should be distributed and promoted widely across multiple platforms and made available in various languages to accommodate guardians whose first language may not be English. In closing, the immediate and long-term health and well-being of children, families, and communities relies on a comprehensive bundle of COVID-19 mitigation measures. Physical distancing of 2 meters between individuals must be prioritized to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission on school buses and in classrooms. Hence, bus occupancy and class sizes must be reduced. We have asked the board to petition the Ministry of Education for necessary funds while simultaneously taking any and all actions at its disposal to reach this critical objective.
1 minute.
Thank you. Given that guardians are stakeholders in the education of children, we have requested that the board ensure that all guardians are receiving clear and detailed information regarding school bus and classroom conditions. I thank you once again for the opportunity to share our concerns with you this evening. Thank you, Madam Chair.